Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Q&A. I'm Dr. Janine. It's great to have you here. Please say hello and where you're from, and I'm going to get right to your questions because yesterday we had a great show. So we did talk about my natural toothpaste recipe, the whitening and brightening toothpaste with all natural ingredients, which is fantastic, as well as we talked about nutrient deficiencies. So we went through 5 more nutrient deficiency symptoms and signs that your body could be telling you that you are low in certain nutrients. So we could do a bit of a review on that. You helped me to fill in those blanks yesterday. We also talked a lot about menopause yesterday and balancing the hormones. And often, people don't make certain correlations, especially with leptin resistance. So we did a bit of a review talking about how leptin and your insulin has a lot to do with how well your hormones are either balanced or not so balanced. And that's true for the guys as well, of course. And we did some microneedling yesterday in the beauty set, which was fantastic. So I'm curious, how many people have tried the microneedling? I know maybe since yesterday, maybe not so much, but if you have a microneedler at home, I know a few of you do. I hope that you are on top of it. It's one thing to have these tools at home. It's another thing to actually be consistent with using them. And like I said yesterday when we talked about the microneedling, I like to do it once a month. I find that for me, for the skin regeneration and for your collagen levels is super helpful. So yes, hello, and please hit that like button. I love to see those hearts coming through when we do our Q&As and during my lives. It's so nice to have you all here. Manoj, thank you from India. Great to have you here. Deborah from the Bronx in New York. Great to have you here. It's Simis, did I say that right? In Iran. Thank you for tuning in today. Great to have you here. Masoom in Pakistan. Nice to have you here. Mary Beth is here from Chicago. Hello, hello. The Windy City. And who else is here? Okay, so Stefania, you tried the microneedling and you loved it. Yeah, isn't it fantastic? It is amazing. Now, depending on the sensitivity of your skin, you can actually feel it even the next day that you've done something to the skin to help to, get things going in terms of your collagen and your elastin. So I think it's incredible. Julie, hello in California. Barbara in Miami. Nice to have you here. Thank you for tuning in and thanks for those hearts coming through. I see that happening already. And of course, we'll also, if you do have specific questions based on yesterday's show, so any menopausal questions, if we're talking again about balancing those hormones for both the guys and the women, it could be perimenopausal as well. Amber from Idaho needs some support. Yes. Okay. So we can go through some of the common symptoms again that we talked about yesterday of menopause, but then more importantly, my tips. And these are things often that you haven't heard of before because it's very different based on, of course, my research and my work with my patients over the years and my own body and balancing hormones that I've come to, really love certain protocols that work and they work amazing and they work for the long term, which is what you want. You don't want to fix your hormones for like a couple months and then they revert right back to having the hot flashes, night sweats, and all the fun symptoms that go along with perimenopause and menopause. All right, nice to see you, Charlene. Rosetta, thank you in Chicago for tuning in. Peter in UK, great to have you here. Vicky, more menopause. Okay, so let's go through really quickly the symptoms that we talked about yesterday. Common symptoms found with menopause. Here's the list. So of course, headaches, and this could be any really, hormonal imbalance. So I'm even going to stretch this to the guys as well. There could be hormone issues and detox routes that aren't open that could be causing a lot of these symptoms. So whether it's the headaches, the lack of energy, fatigue, brain fog, hot flashes, the night sweats, changes in the period, which usually the average age of perimenopause is around age 40. So there's like a 10-year window of opportunity for things to feel not right. And this is where a lot of women are shocked. They're in, you're getting into your late 30s or whatever. You may know someone and all of a sudden things start changing. You're like, what is going on? Is this menopause already? No, it's perimenopause. And it can be more or less severe depending on what's going on with a variety of things. When I get to my tips, I'll explain. As well as skipped periods, insomnia, so sleep issues, mood changes, so the irritability, but the sensitivity, the emotions as well. And that dreaded weight gain. Okay, let me just run over here for a second because I left Mr. Fat in the kitchen from yesterday when we were recording videos. All right, so that weight gain, it could be 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds. I heard some women can gain up to 50 pounds. You don't know what's going on. So you haven't changed your diet, you haven't changed your exercise, you're eating the same stuff, you're sleeping as you did before, and all of a sudden you've got this happening and this weight, this is just 5 pounds of fat. So imagine you've gained 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 pounds, which is possible if you're not getting those hormones under control in perimenopause and menopause and in general. So this is something, yes, Sarah, tips for belly fat. Well, let's go through some of the weight loss tips that I have, especially when the hormones are not balanced. It's something that we did talk about yesterday. So it says weight loss tips for menopause, but this applies really for any type of weight loss that you're trying to aim for, especially that belly fat. Okay, you can use cold packs. So using ice packs on your trouble spots, this is going to help your leptin receptors, which becomes really important. So using the cold to your advantage, that could be cold showers, ice dunks, leaving your coat off in colder temperatures for a period of time, and then you warm up afterwards. But for a period of time, you want to sort of shock the body, increase your brown fat, increase your thermogenesis, and that will help to target especially that belly fat, which is amazing. So use the ice packs. You can use them on the abdomen, you can use them on the back of the neck. There's some major acupuncture points. I didn't talk about this yesterday. The wind points are at the top back part of your here, and that will cool down your body. And there's a governing vessel point in your low back. So if you put the ice pack there, it'll cool your body very quickly. So using those cold packs for your leptin sensitivity is amazing. Having a big breakfast, this is also important. Aiming for 50 grams of protein with your breakfast. This helps with targeting that weight loss throughout the day. You want to get that metabolism going, your circadian biology going first thing in the morning. And no food after dark. Okay, so you got to shut it down after dark. If you do like your intermittent fasting, just make sure that you're fasting your dinner, not your breakfast. All right, that is important for your circadian rhythms. Eat your breakfast within 1 hour after waking up and when the sunrise is there. So depending on where you live, so if you live really close to the equator, that time window for eating your breakfast is shortened because ideally you want to eat between, and this is based on the light cycles, which I know is, it's very detailed, but ideally if you're struggling with your hormones or chronic inflammation, you've got leptin resistance, you want to eat between sunrise and UVA rise. And that's something that you can check on the circadian app. It's something I said yesterday I was going to write it down. So remind me, guys, to write down about this, how to spell that circadian app thing. And if I can show you on my phone, then maybe I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so the circadian app is going to tell you when the UVA is rising. So you want to eat in that window before the UV rises. That's when you're getting most of the red light. It helps with your metabolism. All right, as well as stop snacking between meals. You want to exercise, but not too much exercise. So some form of movement. We talked yesterday about doing it with the cardio is not going to help. You're actually going to gain more weight. So yeah, not the best thing when your hormones are out of whack, especially leptin. So you don't want to over-exercise. More sun exposure, so getting some more natural sunlight exposure, super, super important. And the supplements, so some of my favorite supplements for menopause is something else that we talked about yesterday. Anshu Doobie is asking, can perimenopause happen at 37 years? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And I would say that that's premature perimenopause. So there's something going on, whether it's your EMF exposure, your circadian rhythms are messed up, you're getting, too much blue light in your eyes at the wrong time. So after the sun has set, wherever you live, if there's artificial lights on and that's coming in your eyes, it's messing up your circadian rhythm. So that would be too early, but it is possible to have many perimenopause that early. Women who go into premature menopause, so it's happening earlier than around the age of 50, then that is another indication that your circadian biology is messed up. All right, thank you. Okay, there's jokes happening. I see Graham, there's a lot of funny emojis. All right, nice to see you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Can Pilates be a good exercise, Stefania? Yes, Pilates is good. Yoga also good. It's strenuous. It's lengthening the muscles, but you're not overdoing it with the cardio aspect, so there's not the stress response. Here's the other thing about exercise, which I don't think I've said before. When you exercise, you want to do a cool down and a stretch after any type of exercise, because that tells your body that it's safe again, and it doesn't have to keep your cortisol levels up. And depending on what time of day that you're exercising, that could be a not so good thing in terms of your hormonal balance. So that becomes important. Okay, so doing a cool, like I did a little workout last night, just easy walking, some minor weights, lifting some weights for my arms, and then I did like a 5-minute like little meditation yoga slash thing just to calm my nervous system down again. So you don't want to overexert yourself before bedtime, which is not a great thing. Even though some people say that they love it, helps with sleep, but the quality of your sleep I don't think is optimized in terms of your circadian biology if you're overdoing it just before bedtime with your workouts. Okay, let's go on over here as we... Okay, the supplements for menopause. Yes, I was assuming that you would want to know about those. Okay, let's go through my favorite list and some of my favorite herbal medicines for menopause as well, something that we talked about yesterday. So I love this combination. I actually take them together. So the combo of black cohosh, chaste tree berry, maca, and motherwort. Now, black cohosh helps to balance your estrogen levels. Chaste tree berry, I keep holding the fat here. It's getting heavy. You can imagine, that's just 5 pounds. Imagine carrying around if your body's carrying on to excess weight over time, it gets heavy and exhausting. Okay, so black cohosh helps with your balancing your estrogen levels, and chaste tree berry helps with your progesterone levels. So that is really good because can we show the chart really quickly? What happens in perimenopause is that we get the ski slope thing happening with our hormones, and they drop off a cliff. So you get like a over 90% reduction, for instance, in your estrogen levels. Just look, plummets down in menopause, down to, very little. And this is where your fat cells in your adrenals actually have to take over for your estrogen distribution. So that's important. So then why do we gain the weight? Like I said yesterday, a little bit of weight gain around perimenopause, and menopause is normal. It's just like in pregnancy, your body has to sustain. Now that your ovaries are shutting down, your body has to sustain a little bit of estrogen and progesterone. And this is where, the adrenal glands and your fat cells are going to help you to do that. But see how that just drops off in perimenopause. And no wonder we, as women, go through these symptoms as the hormones are dropping down. Okay, back to the herbal medicines. So the estrogen and progesterone we've dealt with now with the black cohosh and the chaste tree berry. The maca is known as an adaptogenic herb, and this is important because in times of stress, of course, we definitely want our body to be able to adapt to that, especially our cortisol levels. And this is where the maca can be amazing, from Peru, okay, from the Andes Mountains, and motherwort. Now, motherwort, Leonaris cardiaca, this is an important herbal medicine that helps with heart symptoms. So as the hormones are dropping down in perimenopause and menopause, you can have some heart palpitations and muscle aches and cramps as well. And this is where the motherwort becomes amazing to help with those symptoms. So there you go. I think did we have more tips too? So let's go through some of the tips that we had for menopause that we talked about as well, or that was it. That was it? Maybe that was it. I can't hear. Okay, that was it. All right, we got it. All right, perfect. Awesome. All right, so we also did how much of each, how many milligrams? That's a great question. I don't know if my team can get that together quick enough for you. And can we stop synthetic hormones and start taking those herbs? A lot of people. So this Micalibro 66. These are fantastic questions. Yeah, it is possible. And it's something that, when I worked with my patients, that I was able to, get them off. And it depends. Everybody's body is different in terms of getting off of synthetics, how quickly your body will adapt. But these herbs, when taken in the right combination, are very powerful. So I hope my team can actually help you. Thank you for those hearts coming in. Please, everybody, hit that like button and make sure you share today's live as well. It would be great to have you here and sharing with your friends so that we have a lot of great. So hit that heart. Thank you. I see all of them coming in all at once. Awesome. Amazing. I love it. Some people have to tap a screen. And I know that some people, when I watch live, sometimes, I watch my kids as well. We tap the screen. It's just fun. It's a fun little exercise at the end of the day. The NEAT, right? The non-exercise. I can't remember what that acronym stands for. If anybody remembers what NEAT stands for, just put it in the comments. Yes, and I'll call you out. All right, Kathy. Yes, thank you for the hearts. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you, EFLC Tap, for sharing today's live. And thanks for all my new followers as well, to everybody who is tuning in for the first time. It's great to have you here. Sorry, andropause. Yes, so we have talked about andropause. So for the guys, so women have menopause, the guys have andropause. Again, there's a drop off in the hormones for the guys as well. So this is important. Again, I go back to the leptin signaling and something called pregnenolone steal. So if you're finding that maybe your cholesterol is going up a bit, which by the way is actually a sign of longevity to have a little bit higher cholesterol. So that's actually a good thing. But everything is relative and everything in balance. But the andropause is important. We have to look back at, okay, what is causing maybe symptoms of your hormones changing around the age of 50 or so. And for guys, sometimes that is changeable as well, 55 or so, that the hormones are changing. So we look at things like leptin, pregnenolone steal syndrome, and your cortisol levels, your stress levels. For a lot of men, I find that if I'm able to balance their stress response and their cortisol and get their sleep patterns on a great rhythm, then this does a lot for their circadian biology to help to balance those shifts in the hormones as they're aging, which is really important. It helps to keep you young as well and healthy and not as sore. This is so common for men, you kind of push through it. And you get a lot of soreness. So soreness in the joints, you wake up, you got a sore back, or your knees start to ache, or your shoulders, or when you're working out, you just feel like you don't have that same kind of strength, and you can't get away without being sore all the time. And maybe you're taking something for like an over-the-counter type of thing for your pain, a painkiller, and you think, okay, it's just part of getting old. No, you shouldn't be in pain and inflammation. One of the things you can have tested in your blood is your highly sensitive CRP, and that's an indicator of too much inflammation in the body, and something that's really important that you're managing that overall inflammation. It ties back to leptin, your insulin signaling as well. So usually it's the leptin resistance, remember, that you get before you get the insulin resistance. All right, so I hope that makes sense for the guys, and a great question. Thank you to Jessica's question. Okay, I'm not sure. So specific things, of course, I cannot answer. So if you ask a more general question, that would be better. Thank you. And Maria, thank you for tuning in today. And I know with the hormones changing, something that we talked about was, heart palpitations happening around perimenopause and menopause, and that's because there's estrogen receptors in the heart as well. So when that is dropping down, then you can start to have symptoms of your heart and more anxiety as well, is one of the things that we talked about yesterday. So it's important. So that's why the motherwort, that herbal medicine in the combination that I like for balancing the hormones in menopause, is in the formulation that I like. Okay, the toothpaste recipe. Yes, somebody wants to see that. So yesterday we made the natural toothpaste. Should we go over there? Let's go over here really quickly. So the whitening toothpaste is something that we mixed up yesterday, and this is fantastic. It whitens the teeth. It helps to remineralize the teeth. And basically what we mixed up, and you can see, is the actual toothpaste here that we mixed. So it had our whole food calcium powder, of course, from our sponsors at Vitatree. So this is a coral calcium that's taken as a supplement. So you take it internally, but we use it in the toothpaste recipe because it has a bunch of other trace minerals that helps to remineralize the teeth, which is amazing. We've got baking soda in here. We also have xylitol, which helps to manage the bad bacteria in the mouth and actually promotes the growth of the good bacteria, the probiotics in the mouth. Some coconut oil, and remember the one that's the more white, solid one at room temperature, just so that you get that nice consistency of toothpaste. And of course, we have our peppermint essential oil. So we mix that in. I'll show you the recipe in just a second. We mix that into a little container, and then you can, if you want, you can purchase the little tubes and then put it into your little tubes, and then you've got your own toothpaste. In my bathroom, I just leave a bowl like this, and then I just it's only me using it in my bathroom, so I just dip my toothbrush in there and then brush. It's amazing for the whitest teeth and to help if you are prone to cavities and things. It's one of the things that I recommend. Another, is baking soda okay for daily use? I get this question a lot. Now, it depends on your teeth. So everybody's enamel is different. If you think that you've got a sensitivity, if your dentist has looked at your teeth, I mean, this is a very individual question, and you think, okay, maybe it's not going to be best once a week, twice a week, you could use this toothpaste if you're okay. A lot of people do use baking soda every single day, or charcoal, I've heard, is, I use a charcoal toothpaste in between as well. Science Master, yeah. Ever add charcoal? I haven't added charcoal, but that would be a great thing to add into the recipe as well. So great idea. Okay, Science Master, bleeding gums can be a sign of a vitamin C deficiency. So that's something to look into, which is more common than what you would think. As much as we think we are getting vitamin C in our food, it's not always the case. So optimizing your vitamin C is something that's important. All right. So Chelsea's asking about thyroid. So the thyroid, if it is enlarged, it can mean a few different things. So some of the things that we've talked about here, and I don't have it here on the set, I would have shown you the thyroid. Oh, Lucy has a thyroid. So here we go. So the thyroid, often the doctor will feel your thyroid when you go in for your exam and your physical exam. And if it's enlarged, it could mean that your thyroid is overactive with Graves' disease. Even if it's underactive, if you have a goiter and iodine deficiency, which is so common, if you're low in iron, even your thyroid can become enlarged, because that's one of the cofactors needed for proper thyroid support anyways, and it's something that you definitely want to get checked, but at the same time supporting your thyroid gland is one of the things that I personally take a supplement every night to support. I used to have a thyroid issue, no longer have the issue. I just support my thyroid with the cofactors, with the nutrients like kelp, which is of course the iodine. I'm always optimizing my iron levels, so in my diet, because that's important for your thyroid as well. A lot of women I find are iron deficient, and that is then affecting their thyroid, and you start to be tired and you're gaining weight and you have dry skin and constipation. So, and a lot of people are actually medicated for low thyroid. And even though you're medicated, you still have the symptomatology of low thyroid. So it's something to definitely always make sure you're giving your thyroid the nutrition that it needs, which is so important. All right. Nice to see you, Azib. Thank you for tuning in today. It's great to have you all here. And okay, here's a good question. Why D? Causes of calcification in the ureter vein, and how can you remove it naturally? Vitamin K2 deficiency is very much linked to your calcium going to the wrong places in your body. So this is why it's so important to optimize your vitamin K2 levels. I actually take it personally as a supplement, and it's in a fat-soluble form, because vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin. So the one that I take is chewable. It tastes like strawberries. Delicious. And maybe we should do, I think we've done it like probably a few months ago. We talked about vitamin K2, but maybe we'll circle back to that next week, and we'll do it as a segment in the show next week. So tune in on Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about we will talk about vitamin K2 and why it's so important for keeping your arteries clean, your kidneys clean, any type of calcification, and problems even with osteoporosis, osteoarthritis can link back and stem back sometimes to a vitamin K2 deficiency. And we don't get enough. Here in North America, we do not get enough in our diet. So it's something that I find a lot of people actively need to supplement, but in a natural format. So we'll talk about that next week. That's a great topic. The recipe, okay, the recipe for the toothpaste. All right, let's take a look at it really quickly. All right, so the whole food calcium powder, again from our sponsors at VitaTree, that's one that I use, of course, in the formulation, and our baking soda, xylitol, and coconut oil, peppermint essential oil. Okay, a question did come in yesterday, because we know that if you've got pets in the house, so cats and dogs especially, xylitol is super toxic for them. So a lot of pet owners simply will not have and purchase xylitol and have it in the house, just in case their pet comes in contact with the xylitol. What can you use as an alternative? Here, I would be okay with maybe a stevia for the same type of consistency. So a stevia in a crystallized form would be something that you might be able to find. I know that monk fruit also does come without xylitol. So often when you purchase monk fruit, it comes with xylitol. So you'd have to search for one. It does exist, monk fruit, just to give a bit of sweetness to the toothpaste. That would be something that you could use. You wouldn't want to use sugar, because sugar has the right consistency, but of course is totally defeating the purpose of brushing your teeth. All right, I hope that helps. Okay, so Bonita, put the camera down some so you can screenshot it. Okay, guys, thank you very much, Ali. All right, there we go. And get a good shot of that so that we can we see it? Yeah? Okay, good. I hope, Benita, you got the screenshot. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you for the hearts coming in, everyone. I appreciate it. Everybody could hit that heart, hit that like button. It's great to have so much great feedback when I do come live here. And so many new followers as well. Thank you for hitting that share button. It's great to have you all here. It's something that we do so if you're here for the first time and you're like, what's going on? I'm Dr. Janine, and we talk all about natural ways to help ourselves and to help our situation. So whether that's weight loss, we do things in the kitchen as well. I share healthy recipes. We make toothpaste. We did microneedling yesterday for the beauty aspects. And we talk about herbal medicines, and I talk a lot about supplements and what to be aware of in the supplement industry. So it's all educational. We have a lot of fun. So on the Tuesday show, in case you missed it, please tune in next week on Tuesday. And it's at a little bit different time. It's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to tune in because we have questions and quiz questions, and you can win a prize. So next week on Tuesday, I'll announce our winner from yesterday's show of the VitaTree Magnesium, again from our great sponsors at VitaTree Nutritional. So please tune in next week on Tuesday at 11 a.m. What's that? Okay, so the toothpaste, yes. So yeah, so if you're, and here's another thing. Thrifty made chick with the toothpaste. It's one of those things that if you're prone to cavities or if your kids are prone to cavities, please tune in to Tuesday's show next week, because that often can be related back to vitamin K2 deficiency. Remember vitamin K2, something that I'll talk about, it's kind of like the director. It tells your calcium where to go in the body. So we want it to go into and deposit into the teeth, into the dentin, to form the strong enamel, which is so important for dental health. But we also want it to go into the bones for bone density, so the vitamin K2. And again, if you missed it yesterday, we made the natural whitening toothpaste recipe. Again, it smells amazing. And of course, I use the peppermint essential oil. You could use star anise to make it sort of like a licorice, black licorice sort of flavor. We also talked yesterday about the fact that you could use some clove. Now, clove can be a little bit strong, so maybe just a couple drops of clove essential oil. That has a numbing effect. So if you have sore gums for a period of time, just using a few drops, and I've done that for the kids if they had, if their molars are coming through, or even when they were babies, just a drop of clove essential oil on your finger and rub that into the gums, and it actually numbs the area, which is amazing. You can't take too much of it, of course, because clove oil at high concentrations, any essential oil for that matter at high concentrations, can be toxic. So you just got to be careful in terms of dosing. And Lori wants me to go over here for microneedling. Okay, I'm going to do that. So let's go and talk about microneedling. Tea tree oil, Science Master, for what are we talking about for the tea tree oil? On the teeth, yes, you could do tea tree. The taste, I'm not sure about the taste of that one. I don't think I've used tea tree oil in my mouth before, but it's possible. It is possible. Again, it's one of those that in a dilution, you probably wouldn't want to use it straight up. Tea tree oil, you want to use it in a dilution. And you can look these things up. I mean, all the different essential oils have different toxicity concerns at their pure concentration, but it would be something that you could definitely look into. Okay, so we did microneedling yesterday. So again, just a quick rehash of what we talked about. So what's really important with microneedling, and if we look at the graph really quickly of what it looks like, is that you're actually puncturing the outer surface of the skin. Now, depending on the length of the actual needles, so it comes, you just purchase this online. I know this question came up yesterday. You can just purchase it online, but it's going to specify when you're purchasing what depth of needle. So for instance, I have sensitive skin. I'm at 0.25 millimeters. So really tiny, tiny needles. If you try to see them, you can barely see them on the camera. I'm going to see if can we see? Yeah, you can barely see them. All right, so mine's at 0.25 millimeters. And if you actually buy, and I do have one of these devices at home, and I will bring that for a future show. I'll show you, and I have showed it before, that it's battery operated, and it's going to puncture the skin and it oscillates. So it's a little bit different mechanism. This one you're rolling. The microneedler with the roller is what I showed you yesterday, but you can also purchase the one that is electronic, and it punctures the skin. And you can see, depending on the length of the needles, it's going to penetrate, and then where the collagen has atrophied, it helps to build up and strengthen the collagen. A little bit of trauma to the area is actually a good thing. It strengthens you, all right? And it strengthens the skin, your collagen and elastin. Okay, so cleanliness is very important because this is penetrating the outer skin. So you're going to clean your skin, then you're going to, what I like to do, so whatever your cleansing routine is, you can use some alcohol-free witch hazel. I have used hydrogen peroxide. You just want to have a really clean surface for your skin as well as your tool. So this, you're going to, really make sure that you're sanitizing well. I used my glasses cleaner recipe that we've done before that has the alcohol in it. And then I actually, after spraying it, then I actually run this under the water. And I also clean the container as well. Like I just like to be as clean as possible because you're introducing this too, and it's going beyond your skin barrier, all right? So then a little bit of witch hazel to remove whatever is left on the skin, helps to sanitize, and then you're going to roll. So in 3 different directions. So yesterday I did this side of my cheek. So you're gonna roll up and down, and you usually pass over the same area 2 to 3 times. Then you're going to go across, so horizontally, the same thing, 2 to 3 times. And then you go diagonally in the same area that you're working 2 to 3 times. And work in little sections of the face. So for instance, when I would do the lower cheek, then I would do the upper cheek. You have to be careful around the eyes because it's very delicate tissue. You're not pressing very hard, but enough to feel it. And you'll get red depending on your skin type. You saw me yesterday because I removed my makeup, and then you saw it got quite red. And that can stay for the next couple of hours. And then, like I said this morning, when I did my workout, I could still feel my face that there was something on this side. I could feel it was a little bit, when I was getting really sweaty, I could feel that I had done something to the face, which is now your skin is going to regenerate, and that collagen will regenerate in the coming weeks after that. I do find as well with the microneedling that after time, so usually about sometimes 5 days up to a week or so, a week and a half, I'll have sort of like a sloughing off. It's like all the dead skin all of a sudden all comes off at once, kind of like if you use a retinol, that you have that day when, everything is peeling off, which is great. And then underneath is just the most beautiful, revitalized and collagen-filled skin, which is amazing, which you're going to love. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers that question. Science Master, yes, using witch hazel after you shave is fantastic. It's all natural and kind of works like an aftershave because it is going to, if there is any type of bacteria there, well, it's called an astringent, so it helps to, contract the tissue back down again. And can you use KQN68? Can you use microneedling on pigmented skin? Absolutely. So it can actually help with the pigmentation. The pigmentation is happening though. That's because, of course, your melanin is coming to the surface. So I often like to think of, okay, what is underneath there that is looking to get more melanin? And melanin, we know, helps with our hormones. It's a master antioxidant. It's very protective and protects our cells. So this is something that is interesting when we start to look at, the tissue underneath. So that's for another day to talk about that. Okay, hyperthyroidism questions coming in. Yes, Kathy, I think my team is helping to answer those for you. Microneedling, I like to do it for my skin once a month. I don't like to do it much more than once a month because you don't want to overdo it. You want to have that sort of growth phase of your collagen within a month is good. All right. I hope that helps. All right, good. How safe is PRP under the eyes? Alina, it depends again on your skin because the PRP, depending on if people who don't know what PRP is plasma-rich proteins. So when they withdraw it's called the vampire technique. So they take your blood out, then they spin it so that they've got your plasma and your sort of the growth part of your blood, and then they put it back into the skin. So under the eyes, we know, is very delicate. Again, it depends on the practitioner, if you trust that practitioner, whoever is doing it, and how well some people will actually have a sort of an autoimmune response to PRP, in which you can get swollen. Like, I've seen all types of things happen. So you just have to be wary of who and the experience of the practitioner who's doing it and which areas you're going to do. Alina, PRP, if it were me, to be honest, I wouldn't do it right under my eyes. With the microneedling, yes, because I can control, the pressure that I'm using and the size of my needles. Like I said, it's only 0.25 millimeters for the microneedling on the one that I purchased. But yeah, again, everybody's different. All right, so I hope that helps. So please, I want you to tune in on Tuesday for the Doctor Janine Show. We're going to be talking about vitamin K2. We'll be probably talking about the hormones again. So balancing the hormones, going back to cortisol and stress levels, and that pregnenolone steal. I think we need to do a little bit of a review on that, as well as please send your email in. So please let us know that you want to be on my new insider group. So please send an email here, hello@drjaninebowring.com. We will have a lot of special things coming up, especially with the launch of my new book coming up early in the new year. Super excited about that. And a lot of different promotional things happening around my book. So please make sure that you join that email list, and so that you're always up to date on my newest and latest endeavors and what we're working on here at the Dr. Janine Show. So on Tuesday, I will be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is the show. If you're new here, thank you for all the hearts coming through. Please hit that heart button a few more times before we go. Thank you so much. Kathy, you're so kind. Thank you. All right. So yes, on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, please tune in then. We'll have a whole new show like we do every week. And it is going to be so much fun and new topics. And yeah, I don't know what we'll do for the beauty segment. Maybe I'll bring in my other more intense microneedler. Yeah, I think I'll do that. All right, and I'll show you that technique as well. It's very similar to the rolling microneedling, but I'll bring in my actual device and I'll show you how that one works as well for next week. All right, so we'll see you then. Have a great, few days, weekend. Enjoy your weekends. Make sure you're getting outside, getting some sunlight. It's going to be going away. We won't be able to make vitamin D for much longer, at least where I live here in Canada. So, and everybody has different, latitudes where you're living, and your ability to make that vitamin D is going away. So yeah, make sure that you're getting outside, enjoying the outdoors, and also tune in on Tuesday. Okay, we'll see you there. And of course, make sure that you're continuing to check out all of my content. And I appreciate all the likes and all the shares, and every time you share my content, I truly appreciate it. It's so fantastic to have such a great community here at the Dr. Janine Show. We'll see you then. Bye.